All right, thank you for joining us here on our live streaming platforms. We're talking heat. Now, you may have noticed we did not have our morning newscast because of soccer, so I wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about the heat expected for today because there is a lot of it. In fact, an excessive heat warning is in effect for the area. So let's break down what we're tracking so far today. So an excessive heat warning in effect for today for the potential of heat index values around 115 degrees. It has been a steamy morning for us just this morning. Temperatures in the upper 70s, dew points way up there. In fact, down at the beaches right now, the heat index is in the 90s already. It is a very hot one out there, but we do have the chance of some afternoon storms that should help to cool things off eventually. But first, we have to get through the extreme heat. Now, I'm going to switch over to my weather computer here so we can see what we're going on here. But yeah, here's the main point: steamy morning, excessive heat, and then afternoon storms possible. And let's get this thing going. Now, I have the forecast map up here in the corner as we can see some coverage of storms in the afternoon here for your Sunday, but not as much coverage maybe as we saw yesterday. And I think the coverage of storms may be a little bit further north in our area, but very similar story for the next week ahead. We're dealing with some days that might be drier, some days that might be wetter, but we're keeping the chances of afternoon storms. So here's a look at the current temperatures across the area right now. And as we can see, 84 degrees right now in Gulf Shores, 84 degrees in Pensacola, 82 degrees in Pascagoula. So definitely feeling hot out there right now. And then taking a look at the current feels like temperature, yeah, there it is. So currently right now in Gulf Shores, 101 degrees, 96 in Pensacola. Feeling very, very hot this morning just because of the amount of moisture we have in the air. When you factor in that humidity, it feels a lot hotter out there, and it is just going to get hotter from here. Now, taking a look at the excessive heat warning that we have for today, it's for the entire Fox 10 viewing area. This thing goes until 7 p.m. for the chance of heat index values around 115 degrees in the afternoon. So dangerous heat expected today. Today is one of those days where if you have outdoor plans, you need to possibly make some changes because it is just going to be too hot to be outside, especially during the afternoon hours. Another thing, just make sure you're staying hydrated. If you do have to be outside, make sure that you are taking frequent breaks. If you can get in the shade, get in the AC, do so. You need to do your work outside, but at the same time, you're going to need to have moments to cool off because it's just going to be too hot to do extended activity outside. Now, here's the forecast heat index across the area today, and as we can see, it is going to be a hot one for sure. Forecast heat index across the area. Look at that, 116 in Pascagoula, 112 in Gulf Shores. So very, very, very hot out there. 111 in Fairhope. And this is just the forecast. We could see locally higher temperatures or locally higher heat index values, or maybe even some lower ones if storms happen to form a little earlier. Now, we do have the chance of those afternoon storms today. Here's a look at the forecast map. What you have in the green is the forecast model pointing out where we could have some precipitation on the map there. Now, everywhere in the area has the chance to see some thunderstorms, but most likely in those green areas. So highest coverage will be in those green areas. In fact, the darker greens most likely higher coverage. But look at those temperatures. Look at those temperatures, 98 for our high in Mobile, 101 for our forecast high in Leakesville today. So feeling very, very hot out there today for sure. Now, here's a look at Futurecast. What are we expecting today? Notice Futurecast has a few showers and storms out there in the first half of the day in the Florida Panhandle. We'll see if that ends up happening, and we'll take a look at radar as well. We'll watch the radar trends very closely, but right now this is what that forecast model is going with. But the main stuff doesn't come until the afternoon. Notice north of I-10, we have a development of showers and thunderstorms. Very similar to what we saw yesterday, except maybe a little bit further north and maybe slightly lesser coverage. However, the potential for strong winds is still there. We do not have a formal risk for severe weather for today, except that is very far in our northern parts of our area, actually just north of our area. But these storms could still produce some gusty winds and some very, very heavy downpours. Rain will come down quick for us. As we head into the evening hours, of course, the storms will fade. That's the kind of typical thing that we see. I mentioned that severe weather risk, it is 2 hour north. So not an hour area. Our Foxton viewing area going up to Clark County here and Monroe County here. The level 1 level 1 marginal risk for severe weather is actually 2 hour north, highlighted in green here. So no formal risk for us, but there is still the potential for some of these storms to have some gusty winds. Taking you back to the graphic system here. Let's look at the next 6 days. Yes, the week ahead. We're starting school for some of us, and what are we expecting? Well, we're keeping the rain chances around, aren't we? However, we're keeping the heat around as well. So notice some days are slightly drier than others. Some days like Monday and Thursday have a 20% on them, while other days have 30s and 40s. So what's happening here? Well, we have kind of a mix of moisture going on right now. What we're looking at is the available moisture in the atmosphere. I like to show this map because it can essentially show what the potential is for heavy rain. And as we can see, this is 2 p.m. on Monday. Anywhere we have this kind of reddish color is the higher available moisture. So anywhere, northern Alabama, this also thing in the Florida Panhandle, at least according to this model, that is where the highest available moisture is. And that kind of leads, it's kind of tied to the chance for thunderstorm. Advancing this along though, Monday is probably going to be one of the drier days. When you compare it to Tuesday, so we can see brighter colors here indicating more available moisture in the atmosphere, so likely we have slightly higher rain coverage, or at least the storms might be a little bit more efficient in terms of delivering heavy rainfall. Now, advancing this through Wednesday, a portion of our area is slightly drier. We have the rain chances slightly lower then. And then Thursday, much drier according to the forecast model. You see now we're getting into the blues here, indicating that some of the available moisture exiting our area, but we're still keeping the rain chances around a little bit. It's still summertime months for us, so that's kind of what the deal is usually, where we have to keep those rain chances around. Here's a look at the next 7 days. What are we expecting? Like I said, the transition between 40%, 20%, so days of higher rain chances, days of lower rain chances. All the rain will likely come in the afternoon hours, so just have that plan. It's kind of like a getting off of school time. We could be dealing with showers and thunderstorms maybe slightly after school, so after that 3 p.m. hour possibly. So just keep that in mind for your commute home from school. When you're bringing the kids home from school, you might be dealing with some showers and storms. Main story though, the heat, 98, 98, 97, 96, 97, 96. It doesn't really change that much. Giving you full screen look here of the 7-day outlook. Notice at the bottom of the screen the low temperatures in the black there, in the black and white. 80 degrees for our low temperature for your Monday morning. That is a very, very warm temperature. And then keeping it up around 79, 78 degrees throughout the whole entire forecast. How about the 10-day outlook? Yeah, not many changes there. Not many changes at all. In fact, we're keeping this kind of off and on 40, 30% chance of afternoon thunderstorms. The temperature's not going down too much. In fact, staying around 97 to 96. So the middle 90s. If you're down at the beaches today, you're going to be dealing with more like lower to middle 90s, even though our high temperature on the 7-day or 10-day outlook here is 98 for our Sunday. Always the beaches are a little bit cooler, so you can take a couple degrees off if you're right along the coast. However, throughout the forecast, we are still expecting it to feel sticky, especially with those morning temperatures really, really warm. So that's what we're going to be anticipating, dealing with the chance of afternoon thunderstorms and plenty of heat in the coming days. Real quick, I'm going to change up the graphics for us and give us a couple other things to look at. One thing that we're going to take a look at is the beach forecast for today. I have to swap graphics here, so give me one moment, and we'll run out of this for 1 second. So switching up the graphics here, here's a look at our current feels like temperatures. Once again, 101 degrees in Gulf Shores right now. Your day planner for today, very, very humid, scorching in the afternoon hours, very sticky feeling outside, then the chance of afternoon thunderstorms. So if you're down at the beaches, keep an eye to the sky just in case, but the rain chances are lower at the beaches. Rip current risk is low for today and the next few days, which is always a good thing to see, especially because it is so hot out there. A lot of us will want to go down to the beaches to cool off. However, remember, heat index values at the beaches already in the triple digits. It is going to feel very, very, very hot at the beaches, so may not be able to last that long unless you're in the water the entire time. Also, UV index is extreme, so make sure you have on that sunscreen. Typical stuff that we always talk about here, but it's going to be extremely hot today. Also, plenty of sun out for a good chunk of the day, so you're going to need that sunscreen. If you're out boating today, well, we have a west wind at 5 to 10 knots, seas around 1 foot or less, so staying very, very calm out there for the zone forecast. Just to remind you, we have the excessive heat warning across the entire area until 7 p.m. on Sunday. 115 degrees for our potential heat index. So very, very hot. Also, something to note for your Monday, it's going to be hot as well. This is an excessive heat watch. This will likely turn into an excessive heat warning once we get towards Monday. Everywhere not shaded in the red, everywhere not shaded in this maroon color, actually has a heat advisory for your Monday. So keep that in mind. Everywhere is going to be dealing with heat once again for Monday. So that's just what we're dealing with here once again. Here's a look at the 7-day outlook once again. Just to close this out, very, very hot. I know a lot of us getting back to school. It is going to be a hot first week of school for us across the area. 98s, 97s, and then the chance of some afternoon thunderstorms. We thank you so much for joining us on the live stream. We anticipated on a newscast, but of course soccer ran long because of the extra time and penalties in the U.S. Women's National Team game. So, tough game, of course. Sad to see it happen. Well, for our forecast, that's what we're dealing with. Very, very hot out there, and then the chance of afternoon thunderstorms. Thank you so much for joining us on the live stream. I'm Nicholas Herboso. We'll be keeping you updated all throughout the day with the extreme heat. Make sure you're staying cool out there.